Welcome back, everybody. We're diving into something today that had a lot of people talking. I think the 50th anniversary special of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah.
Huge, huge deal.
Big one.
And we're going to be talking about it based on an NPR article by Eric Dagans.
Okay.
Kind of breaks it down.
Cool.
All the highlights, the lowlights, everything in between.
It's kind of crazy to think what a 50th anniversary means
Yeah.
for a show like this, you know?
Yeah.
You think about, like, you expect a celebration
Of course.
of its legacy,
For sure.
but also kind of a reflection on how comedy has evolved,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
how it fits into today's world.
Exactly. Like, I think you kind of go into it expecting a nostalgia fest.
Yeah.
Like maybe some clever nods to current events.
Right.
Woven into those classic sketches.
Yeah.
But this article suggests it really leaned heavily on the nostalgia.
Interesting.
So did it manage to balance honoring the past
Yeah.
with saying something about the present?
Right.
That's what we're here to unpack.
Yeah. I think we got to start with the elephant in the room,
Okay.
or should I say the elephant in the audience?
Hmm.
John Mulaney
Okay.
had that joke about how many SNL hosts have committed murder.
Yeah.
It kind of lands a little differently when, you know, Alec Baldwin's right there watching.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Talk about a button-pushing moment.
For real.
It was like dark humor,
Yeah.
even for SNL. You know?
Yeah.
You could practically feel the tension.
Totally.
Do you think that was deliberate?
Oh, yeah. Like a way to acknowledge the controversy without directly addressing it.
Exactly.
SNL has a history of using humor to dance around sensitive topics.
Totally.
This could be a prime example, you know?
Yeah.
Raises questions about the boundaries of comedy, especially on a night like that, meant to be such a big celebration.
Yeah. And speaking of pushing boundaries,
Okay.
we can't forget Eddie Murphy,
Oh, my God.
his return.
Yeah.
He was the MVP of the night.
No question.
I mean, Black Jeopardy, especially with Tracy Morgan right there on stage.
It's just the best. Black Jeopardy is just brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, it takes that familiar game show format, uses it to satirize cultural differences,
Yeah.
often highlighting stereotypes,
Right.
but in a way that makes you think.
Totally.
And his comedic timing.
Oh, impeccable.
Like each pause,
Yeah.
each facial expression landed perfectly.
Mm.
I mean, that sketch is a classic for a reason.
It's like he never left.
Truly.
And Will Ferrell,
Another legend.
another comedy titan,
Yeah.
brought his A game as well.
Yeah.
Seeing those legends back on the SNL stage,
Yeah.
like royalty returning
Yeah.
to their rightful kingdom.
It just shows how certain performers become woven into the fabric of a show like that. They're not just delivering lines.
Right.
They embody like a particular comedic sensibility
Yes.
that defines SNL for a generation.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then there were the cameos.
Oh,
I mean, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler,
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds,
Mm-hmm.
even Cher and Keith Richards graced the stage.
Wow.
Talk about star power.
It's a double-edged sword,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, cameos can be fun, but too many can feel like a distraction.
totally.
Like they're trying too hard
Yeah.
to overcompensate.
Mm.
Did the article say if it felt that way at times?
Yeah, it did, actually.
Okay.
They said the Debbie Downer and Mrs. Rafferty sketches, for instance, were funny,
Yeah.
but felt a bit overstuffed
Okay.
with guest appearances.
Right.
And they ran long, maybe trying to cram in too much
I see.
star power.
Yeah.
It's like trying to squeeze
Yeah.
50 years of celebrity into one night.
Right.
It's a lot.
It raises an interesting question.
Yeah.
How do you celebrate a show's vast history without letting the celebration overshadow the present moment? Maybe a tighter edit on some of those sketches would have helped.
Before we move on, I just want to remind everybody,
Yeah.
if you're enjoying our deep dive into the SNL anniversary special so far, don't forget to like and subscribe
Please.
to get more insightful breakdowns like this.
Yes.
All right, so back to the show.
Okay.
Let's talk about the musical performances.
Okay.
Paul Simon and Paul McCartney, legends.
Oh, yeah.
But the article points out
Oh.
they might have been struggling a bit
Oh, no.
due to age and possible hearing loss.
Oh.
It makes you think about the challenges of performing live at that level for so long.
Absolutely.
And it's fascinating
Yeah.
to contrast those performances with Miley Cyrus and Brittany Howard
Oh, okay.
doing Prince's. Nothing compares to you.
Wow.
Powerful, soulful.
Yeah.
Brought a fresh perspective. It's impossible to hear that song without thinking about Sinead O'Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Her controversial war performance back in '92.
Big moment.
Talk about a moment that shook the world.
Yeah.
Proves how a single musical act on that stage can spark conversations that resonate for decades.
For sure.
It really does.
Highlights how SNL, at its core, has always been about pushing boundaries, using music and comedy to spark dialogue about important social issues.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Speaking of SNL's history,
Yeah.
one thing that surprised me was the lack of presence
Okay.
from some of the original cast members.
Right.
Only a handful were featured prominently.
Huh.
Some weren't even mentioned at all.
Interesting.
Kind of curious.
Yeah.
You'd think a 50th anniversary would be the perfect opportunity to bring back the OGs.
Totally.
Like the people who started it all.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if there's more to the story there, behind-the-scenes decisions or personal choices that kept them from participating.
It happens.
Yeah, definitely something to ponder. But one thing that wasn't missing was John Mulaney.
Oh, good.
His signature brand of humor.
Yeah.
His NYC-themed musical sketch with Nathan Lane and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, I heard about this.
Highlight of the night.
Really?
It was so good.
Tell me about it.
It was this, bizarre, hilarious trip through, the underbelly of New York City's history.
Okay.
Nathan Lane singing about cocaine and vodka to the tune of Hakuna Matata.
Oh!
From The Lion King.
Okay.
You can't make this stuff up.
That's amazing.
Right?
Nathan Lane belting out a cocaine anthem to a Disney classic.
I know.
That's peak SNL absurdity.
It was so good.
What else happened?
Well, Lin-Manuel Miranda made a cameo.
Okay.
Singing a twisted version of Hamilton.
Yeah.
To Kate McKinnon's Rudolph Giuliani.
Nice.
And the whole thing culminates with this giant banner unfurling.
Okay.
And it had this newspaper headline that said, New York to Ford, who's dead now.
Oh, wow.
Direct reference to President Ford's infamous quote about New York City.
Wow, so they snuck in some social commentary after all.
I know, right?
Connecting that Ford quote to SNL's 50th anniversary.
It's clever.
It's a clever way to highlight the show's longevity and its relationship with New York City.
Exactly. It was a reminder that even amidst the nostalgia, SNL can still deliver those sharp, unexpected moments. Make it so unique.
That's what keeps us coming back. That blend of humor, social commentary, and sheer unpredictability.
Absolutely. But before we get too deep into that, let's take a moment to remind our listeners.
Yes.
If you are enjoying this deep dive into the world of SNL,
please
make sure to hit that like button.
Yes.
Subscribe to the channel.
Do it.
We've got plenty more to unpack about this anniversary special.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned.
Can't wait. Welcome back to our deep dive into SNL's 50th anniversary special. Before the break, we were talking about John Mulaney's sketch and how it kind of snuck in some social commentary.
Yeah.
It's interesting how SNL walks this line between celebration and critique, especially when it comes to politics.
Yeah, you'd think a milestone anniversary might pull some punches.
You would.
But SNL's always had this, intertwined relationship with politics.
Sure.
I mean, how many presidents and presidential hopefuls have hosted the show?
So many.
Over the years.
It's practically a rite of passage.
Right.
For anyone seeking higher office in America.
Yeah.
From Gerald Ford to Barack Obama to Donald Trump. They've all stood on that stage.
Yeah.
It speaks to SNL's unique position in our culture.
Yeah. And the political impersonations.
Oh, my God.
Are legendary.
They're the best.
Chevy Chase's Stumbling, Gerald Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Dana Carvey's George H.W. Bush.
Yes.
Tina Fey's Sarah Palin.
Classic.
They don't just imitate.
Yeah.
They capture the essence of these figures in a way that's both hilarious and insightful.
It's more than just making fun of them.
Yeah.
It's about finding the humor in their quirks, their mannerisms, the things that make them human.
And sometimes those impersonations can shape how we perceive these politicians.
It's true.
In real life.
Yeah.
I mean, think about Tina Fey's Sarah Palin.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that impression was so spot on.
Yeah.
It arguably influenced the 2008 election.
Right.
It's a reminder that SNL, even as a comedy show, can have a real impact on the political landscape.
For sure.
So while this anniversary special may not have been overtly political,
Okay.
it did touch on some societal issues.
Right.
like in that Mulaney sketch we were just discussing,
Right.
using historical events and figures as a backdrop.
Yeah.
They were able to make commentary on things like gentrification, crime, the changing dynamics of New York City.
It's a clever way to engage with those issues.
Totally.
Without being explicitly partisan.
Exactly.
You can make people laugh and think at the same time.
It's that blend of humor and insight that makes SNL so effective.
Yeah, totally.
They can tackle serious topics without being preachy or heavy-handed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the article also touched on the sheer scale of producing a live show like this.
Oh, yeah.
With so many performers, writers, crew members, guest stars.
Right.
I mean, the logistics must have been mind-boggling.
It's crazy.
It really is.
It's a testament to the team behind SNL that they pulled it off so seamlessly.
Yeah.
Just imagine the coordination involved.
I know.
It's like orchestrating a massive comedic ballet.
Right.
With all the potential for things to go wrong live on air.
And that live element is part of the thrill, right?
Yeah.
There's a sense of anything can happen.
Totally.
Makes those perfectly executed moments even more impressive.
Absolutely.
It's what keeps us on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, some moments felt a bit over-rehearsed.
Okay.
Overall, it was a masterclass in live television production.
You know, we've talked a lot about the comedy and the social commentary.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the music. You mentioned Paul Simon and Paul McCartney might have struggled a bit.
Right.
What were your thoughts on the other musical performances?
Yeah, well beyond the Miley Cyrus and Brittany Howard duet.
Yeah.
Which we both agreed was phenomenal.
Yes. What else?
There was a really touching performance by the current cast members.
Okay.
They sang a medley of classic SNL musical sketches.
Oh.
It was a beautiful tribute
to
the show's musical legacy.
I like that.
It was a reminder that even though the show has evolved over the years, music remains at its heart.
Absolutely.
It also showcased the talent of the current cast, highlighting that the torch of musical comedy is being passed to a new generation.
Speaking of passing the torch, the article briefly mentioned Sinead O'Connor's controversial War performance from 1992.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of how SNL has always been a platform for artists to push boundaries.
Totally.
And spark conversations, even if it means causing a stir.
That performance was definitely shocking at the time.
Yeah.
But it's become a part of SNL lore.
Right.
Sparked important dialogues about censorship, free speech, the role of music in social protest.
Yeah.
It shows that SNL can be more than just entertainment.
Right.
It can be a catalyst for meaningful cultural conversations.
And that's a powerful legacy. We're halfway through our deep dive.
Okay.
And I have to say, it's making me appreciate SNL's impact on our culture even more.
Me too.
But before we get too sentimental, let's take a quick break.
Don't go anywhere, folks.
Yeah, we'll be right back to wrap up our analysis of this historic SNL event.
Yes, and hey, if you're enjoying the conversation, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives.
Yeah, into the worlds of pop culture, history, and everything in between.
Thanks for joining us.
We're back for the final act of our deep dive into SNL's 50th anniversary special. We've talked about the laughs, the legacy, the surprising moments of social commentary, but now it's time to zoom out. Yeah.
And consider the bigger picture.
Exactly. This wasn't just a one-night party. This was a reflection of 50 years of shaping comedy, pushing boundaries, and becoming part of American culture.
Right.
Did the special really capture the essence of what makes SNL so enduring?
The article we're discussing doesn't shy away from some of the criticisms.
Right.
It points out the reliance on nostalgia, moments of uneven pacing, some sketches that maybe overstayed their welcome.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but was it a fitting tribute?
It's tough to cram 50 years comedic history into a 3-hour show.
Right.
I think they did a pretty good job showcasing the range of talent SNL has fostered from the original not ready for primetime players to the current cast. There was a sense of lineage, of passing the torch that felt genuine.
And that's crucial, right?
Totally.
SNL is all about that evolution, that constant reinvention, while still holding on to the core of what makes it SNL.
Yeah.
But it raises the question that the article posed.
Okay.
Can a show so steeped in its own history still comment on modern times?
Right.
Or is it destined to be mostly a celebration of its past?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
How do you balance nostalgia with relevance.
Yeah.
You've got these iconic sketches, these characters that people love and expect,
right.
but the world keeps changing. You know, can SNL keep up?
The special offered some glimpses, I think, of how they might bridge that gap.
Yeah.
You know that Mulaney sketch about New York City?
Right.
Used humor to comment on gentrification, inequality, issues that resonate today.
Right.
Even some Weekend Update jokes tackled current events.
Yeah.
Albeit with comedic spin.
It shows that SNL hasn't lost its bite entirely.
Right.
It can still poke fun at the powers that be, hold a mirror up to society.
Yeah.
Make us think while we're laughing.
And let's not underestimate the power of those celebrity cameos.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing Cher, Keith Richards, Ryan Reynolds reinforces that SNL is still a cultural touchstone.
Absolutely.
A place where these worlds collide.
In an age where everyone's attention is so fragmented, SNL still manages to bring people together.
It really does.
You know? Yeah. It's a testament to its staying power, its ability to adapt while holding on to those core values.
This anniversary special might not have given us all the answers about SNL's future.
But it did reaffirm its significance in our culture.
Yeah.
It was a celebration of laughter, of satire, the magic of live television.
And it leaves us with plenty to think about.
It does.
What is the role of comedy in a world that's constantly changing?
That's the beauty of a deep dive, isn't it?
I think so.
It leaves you with more questions than answers.
Right.
A desire to keep exploring.
And that's what we hope we've achieved today.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this.
Okay.
What do you think the next 50 years hold for Saturday Night Live?
Let us know in the comments.
And as always, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the world of pop culture, history, and everything in between. Thanks for joining us.